What's the economic answer for baseball then? If it's not a salary cap per se, and when I say salary cap, I understand there are some restrictions that exist in baseball, but not the same way you see in the National Hockey League, the NBA, the NFL. If not that, then how do you get closer to that, at least perceived parity?
Can I add this also? In conjunction with the Players Association. Because baseball probably has the strongest Players Association of any.
Well, it has the longest labor piece, too, of professional sport.
Right, ironically, right? Because
it is an irony.
Yeah. How do you solve that problem? I think you have to start thinking about it in terms of not just players and not just owners, and even not just agents, lead agents, because everybody's got their take on it. I think if you start thinking about it in terms of the fans, you start thinking about what's it like to be a fan in Kansas City. Let me ask you this: is it easier to be a fan of the Chiefs or the Royals? And then you have to say we want it to be the case that it's as easy or easier to be a fan of the Royals as it is to be a fan of the Chiefs, and to feel like your team has a chance, just as good a chance as the team in New York or L.A. or Chicago or what have you. I mean, that's the goal. So if you think about it in terms of the fans or the taxpayers that finance stadiums, I mean, every taxpayer dollar should be equal, right? I mean, if you put $1 in Toronto, it should be equal to $1 in New York or $1 in Pittsburgh or Baltimore or San Diego. So I think if you start thinking about it that way, how do you make it so that every fan is created equal and every taxpayer-supported, subsidized facility is created equal? Then you start to move yourself towards rules that make a lot of sense. The NFL, I think, has done it for a variety of reasons, but I think they think it makes it the best game it can be.
Well, but so let me throw something at you that I've thought a lot about, and that is, we understand that the NFL has certain inherent rules and regulations, that it has a salary cap. But what it also has is a flex schedule. They attempt to balance the schedule on an annual basis based upon the performance of the team the year before. It's not always successful. There are always going to be some inequities. You still have to play X number of games against teams in your own division, your own conference. But nonetheless, there is an effort to take the schedule each year as an isolated year and say, okay, this team is a below 500 team. We're going to try and give them some games against teams that are their equal. We all know in the American League East, you got 19 games against the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Rays, and the Blue Jays. 76 games. Almost half your season is just clubbing each other. What if there was more of a flex in that schedule? You don't have to deal with economics. All you have to deal with is results and record.
That's definitely one mechanism you can use.
Is it being talked about at all?
Yeah, sure. They talked about going back to a balanced schedule and versus this unbalanced schedule.
Right.
But, there's, like all things in life, there's a give and take there. I mean, I will tell you, especially in the last 3 years or so, we've held our own with the Yankees and Red Sox.
Gotcha.
Prior to that, we weren't holding our own. But one of the benefits that we had was we had a lot of fans coming to Camden Yards.
Correct.
Part of that's because Camden Yards has a great brand and people know it. It wasn't just because fans travel with the team of the fans of the Red Sox and Yankees. But we get those fans. So you got to take the good with the bad. The question is, how do you create a league so that Red Sox fans want to come to Camden Yards, Orioles fans want to go to Fenway Park? So you've got this commerce, this economic activity, this vibe, this energy about the game, which is what you want. But you don't have it such that whoever has the larger Nielsen market has the larger payroll and then wins more games. Now other mechanisms, and the commissioner's done a great job. I mean, the other thing the NFL has more playoff spots.
Right.
And the NFL has a reverse order draft that is a college draft, so it's an impactful draft. Right. They don't draft guys and have them around for 5 to 7 years. They bring them to training camp, they make it, they cut it. The only interim step might be a taxi squad berth or something like that. So that gives football a big advantage too, and there's not a lot that anybody can do about that. The question, though, really is, well, can the commissioner, with all the good things he's done to create parity, can he do more? Is there more that can responsibly be done?